Hi, so I'm going to start the second part of this thing. So I'm going to explain the managed anime. So this is coming from basically if I wanted to edit. So for example, right here, this is just handling all the fetching from the database, so I could fill out the anime list, the anime card that I have at the top of the edit page, and then this is the form that I use that I wanted to potentially use to for editing. Um, I'm gonna next go to the create page. So the create page is kind of similar, but you're basically validating it, and then if it works, then I save it to top anime. And then I will also be collecting information from posts from posts from the forum if they submit anything from the submit button, and and if it has post has greater than zero, then we we'll put everything in anime into post in the anime and check validate it, and if it works, then we save it to the database. Uh, Browse. This is how I listed the anime. So on my browse page. So this is just going through for each of the results from the database. This is I have a call function that will for my AP my not my API for my anime helpers file that will help me get anything from the database, but it's good basically get everything from the database, and then for each of the entries, it will create a card. And I also have a check to see if there wasn't, I have to change it, but no furry friends, no anime. um, Sorry. Uh, I'll next go over my functions. So this is what I use to load everything from the API. So basically, use a getter function from my API helper that I got from Professor. So this is just basically connecting to the PHP file and creating a curl, and then it's good create a get method. Um, it's good create a get method. So um, this is this is the get method. This is going to be the get. It's going to create a get request to the API and send it out. Get will go to send request, and this also is for post as well. Uh, so again, I have results. I put in the URL that the API um, gave me. The keys, the anime API keys. This is either in um, in the environment folder, or it's in the you configure vars for if you're using Heroku. Um, there's no data. Um, it's checking to see if it's a rapid API, yes, and then it also gives you the host. Um, then it calls the um, I create a variable that will um, this is basically checking to see if results came back with something and it was good. If it was good, then it's gonna have a empty array. So then I use array mapping to because my my database has name. However, the API has title for in replacement name, so I had to map it, and I pushed each individual anime into anime's list, and then I saved each one into the database, and that's how I did it. At first, I used this function to load it at first onto a browse page, but after this, then I just got from this function, which will select name, score, aired on, picture, and ranks, type an ID from top anime. And it's gonna get basically all the information from the database and create a query, and then try and execute it, and then it's gonna return the result. Uh, I was creating a searcher function, but it wasn't really gonna be used. This builder search, well, essentially, I was gonna use it as a way that you could search by ID. So you could build a search query based off the parameters that was gonna be set. This is how I was gonna do my sorting. So based on what parameters that was gonna be set, um, you and you're gonna go to this function from build search query. It's gonna check to see if you want to type. So it's gonna add to the query. Originally, it's gonna add to the query. Originally, it's gonna get everything from top anime, and where you have one equals one just to keep the statement clear. But you gotta add to the end of it if you want to type. So let's say the parameters had type. Um, you wanted to you saved the value, so you want to save the value into uh, you have added the part that you wanted. So for example, I want to type, so we're gonna say and top dot we're gonna be searching for when top type equals the type that you wanted, or the name, or the ID, or the rank, or the status. Um, if you weren't admin, then you weren't gonna be able to add status. Um, I just wanted to explain that for this one, I understand that it didn't. I didn't really test it, but I wanted to explain that we're basically trying to create search queries based off of parameters that was going to be set from the form. So let's say they wanted a specific type, which was good. You had a type. Type was a drop down menu of TV, special, or movie. You get a search based off of type, so it's gonna put type as movie, and then it's gonna parse out what was in the database that was in the movie, or you could have gone off a name, ID, rank, or status. Even though I didn't really get to get it working, I just want to show that I made a really good attempt. Um, Also, this is another attempt I try to make to do order. So just to, if I wanted to do ascending order or descending order, you can set the order to ascend and descend. So I also added it to the yeah, also added it to the end of the query right here. This is my validate function that I use to validate if the anime was good. This is kind of what I try to use for my create function. So I check to see if the name was empty, if the if it was less than two, because what anime's less name is less than two. Check to see if Airdom was empty. Um, and yeah, and if any of these weren't right, then it's gonna return true. It's gonna return true, so it validates it if it's true. Um, but if it wasn't true, I set it as false. So if it hit any of these, it would have returned false and never got to true in the first place. This is bind parameters, so this is just binding the parameters to the statement. Uh, Let me go back to anime helpers. Oh, this was my anime helper. This, this is my flash message. So this is what is used to create the flash messages. This is where I connected all my functions. So like all the functions like anime helper. So on any page that I connected my nav to, it'll have all these functions because functions is required on my nav. So all these requires attached to it too. This one is getting the URL. So this is either gonna get the base path or the relative path, depending on how it's typed. So let's say if it has um, a dash at the beginning, then it's gonna be considered base. But if it's not, then it's gonna be handled as a relative. Um, this was used to load my API keys. So depending on if I put an .env or in my convert args, it would have load the API keys in, so I can eventually connect it to the API. This is used as a reset. This is to use if I wanted to log out. Um, this function is used for to check arrays to for if I wanted a specific value. So I think this is my where would it be? Ooh. Yeah. So that's not a good one. Yeah. So also I have render functions that are used so I could render the input fields, the different input fields and buttons on my and the anime card. So yeah, I think that's my project.